Okay, so let's say we want to do a t-test by hand. So over here we've got our equation for doing the t-test, and let's say that what we want to do is compare the phosphate concentration of Lake Michigan to the phosphate concentration of Lake Superior. So according to our t-test, the first thing that we're going to need to do is get the averages for each of our two values. So we'll start with the values for Lake Superior, or Lake Michigan rather. So we've got our Lake Michigan values. You can see them stacked up here. In order to calculate our mean, we need the total. So the total of all of those is 17.1. So we sum those up, and then we need to divide by the number of samples, which is 6. So that gives us a mean value of 2.85. In addition to our mean, we also are going to need the variance. Remember that the equation for the variance requires us to take each value and subtract the mean and then square it. So what we need to do is start by subtracting the mean from each one of these values. So 2.6 minus 2.85 is going to give us negative 0.25. And we would do the same thing. 2.8 minus 2.85 and fill that in and fill in all of our values here. So this is all of these, and then we have to square those values. So negative 0.25 squared is 0.0625. Notice the negative has vanished. We square all of those values, and it gives us this. We sum all of those, and it gives us that value there. So that gives us the top, and then remember we have to divide by n minus 1. So since we have 6, n minus 1 is 5, so 0.535 divided by 5 gives us a variance of 0.107. We would then need to do the same thing for the Lake Superior, and you can see that we've got all of those calculations done here. So I have my two variances, so 0.107 and 0.068, my two means, 2.85 and 3. So it gives us all of the information that we need to fill in here. So in order to get t is going to be equal to our one mean minus our next, so 0.285 minus 3, divided by the square root of the variance over n. So our variance 0.0107 divided by the number of samples, we had 6 samples, plus our other variance 0.068 divided by 6 as well, which gives us a negative 0.15 divided by the square root of 0.0292. Simply did those calculations, which gives us a t value of negative 0.878. And remember, that negative is unimportant, because all it means is that we happen to pick Lake Michigan to go first. If we had picked Lake Superior to go first, that would have been a positive value. So that gives you your value of t. You then need to use your degrees of freedom, which in this case, since we've got n equals 6 here and n equals 6 here, degrees of freedom is the two n's minus 2, so we would have 10 degrees of freedom, and then you would go look up what your p-value is in a t-table.